Welcome back to Factory Sealed. It is February 12th, 2017. My name's Eric Peterson. Joining me today, the one and hopefully only Mr. Daniel Curtis.
Well, no, because we looked at this, remember? There was at least about 300 of me in America.
Jeez, that's too many.
That's a lot of people wandering around America going, I say Factory Sealed.
What?
What? Just harassing people in supermarkets going, what?
Huh?
At the meat counter. So what do you like? What?
Sir, what can I get for you? A cheeseburger. Sir, we only sell raw meat, so put some cheese in the raw meat.
To be fair, burgers with cheese in are very nice.
Well, yeah, but that takes effort.
It does take effort.
Have you seen beer can burgers?
Beer can burgers.
Beer can burgers.
Oh,
Where
beer can. Wagwan, my beer can.
Where you take a can of beer and wrap meat around it and put it on the grill.
Yo, you want some beer can?
Look at it. Look it up. Beer can burgers.
I want it like lip hair on grandma.
Because then it creates a little hole in it.
Oh.
Yeah, look. This one even has the word beer can burgers written on the image in case you get confused.
It's the second hit as beer can burgers bacon, so that's just confusing. You want some beer can on your beer can?
Oh, bacon burgers.
Wagwan, my beer can.
No, we're not going down the Wagwan. I'm not biting on that lure.
Oh.
Because that is a deep rabbit hole.
You're getting no fun in your old age.
It's a hard hole to climb back out of. We could spend a whole show. Wagwan!
We usually do.
I mean, we have to fill the show with something.
I know, right?
Something. Nothing
Anyway.
of substance. We should probably mention in the first 3 minutes of the show that Tom is not with us today. He has come down with a severe case of girlfrienditis.
Yeah, he's not here again.
What is that, like 3 shows in a row? 4 shows in a row?
I know. Has he left in disgust?
Maybe.
Did we call him Smooth Area too often?
Maybe we hurt his feelings.
Maybe Dr. Smooth Area was the final straw.
What? We gave him a degree.
It's like, fuck this.
I'm out.
A degree in smooth genitals.
What? I mean, it is 2017. There's some worthless degrees out there.
What's your major? Smooth genitals.
I have my undergrad in smooth genitals and my master's degree in rough genitals. I am a well-rounded genitalia expert.
It's so stupid.
We really get dumb really quick.
We really do. Really do. It's tradition.
I apologize. This is what happens.
But anywho, Mr. Yomis Reagan is not here.
Apparently he has a severe case of something that's not being healthy.
I'm not sure what he has. He's had it for about 8 weeks though, so.
I don't think it's been 8 weeks.
Has it not?
The last show he was on was I mean, he's really only missed one show, to be honest.
Well, that's not acceptable.
God damn it. Some of us have perfect attendance records.
I don't.
No, you don't.
You do, because you won't let us do one without you.
Because you can't.
You can't do it.
You turn the computer on and go, huh?
Technology.
Welcome back to... What's this show called?
I've never heard of it. Is this the one that Daniel Curtis saved?
Who am I?
Oh, I know Dan Curtis. He saved Factory Sealed. I'll shut up now. I promise.
It's so stupid. I think you're going down the road that if you say it enough times, it might become true.
I know, that's the idea. Just keep plugging away.
Because eventually, if you tell a lie enough, doesn't it become a truth?
Pretty much.
Surely
lie,
something in your brain rewires.
It's not a lie. It's perfect truth.
I don't think it is. I think you complimented the show just like Tom complimented the show. And
Yeah.
together, we became one cohesive pile of things.
Or just people who are on your show.
Nah. It's
Yeah.
our show. It's a community show.
Bullshit.
Stinks in here. What is that? Is that bullshit?
Speaking of it being your show, Eric, tell us all about your new laser eyes.
Oh boy. I had lasers installed on Friday.
Are they fun?
They
Is
don't
this
work
to battle
yet.
the evil? Is this to battle the evil of Doctor Smooth area?
Yeah,
So now you can use your laser eyes to reflect
He actually paid
his
for it,
laser beam from the crotch, so you can
paid
fight
for
with
it.
laser beams.
so that I could use my lasers. It's actually laser hair removal, so I could remove the hair from the smooth area.
That's quite a specialist power.
It is. Do you guys have laser hair removal over there?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that'd be the worst. Just a doctor staring at it like, oh, here we go. No, so I had LASIK eye surgery on Friday.
Oh.
Let me tell you what, best investment I have ever made.
So you didn't go blind?
Well, I did. I do now know what it would be like to physically, consciously go blind.
Really? So what happens?
So when I get there, the whole procedure itself physically only took about 10 minutes, but I was there for about 3.5 hours. There's so much prep work involved. They bring you in, you have to sign all this paperwork, and I was having it done.
Your eyes off, you can't sue us.
Basically, yeah. So I was getting both eyes done at once, so they put me in this chair, gave me a Valium, and let me tell you, if you've never had Valium before, it's awesome. They could have removed my eyes.
We don't condone drugs, kids.
They could have removed my eyes and replaced them with potatoes, and I wouldn't have cared.
Maybe they did.
Hey, these potatoes give me great vision.
I wouldn't be surprised.
But since I was getting both eyes done, she put these temporary tattoos above my eyebrows that just said yes. So yes and yes written above each eye. I tried to get a picture, but she made me turn my phone off as soon as I got in.
Oh, no.
But apparently, and I asked her about that, and she goes, well, it's a little bit more aesthetic than what we used to do with just a marker. And I was trying to get to the whole...
Just drew a penis on each eyelid before.
Maybe she did. But she told me the history behind that was, well, it really comes down to the whole making sure we cut off the right limb type thing. And I'm sitting here going, great, this is fantastic for you to be telling me this. Because obviously, there have been medical accidents where people go in to have their appendix removed and come out with no legs.
Yes.
But it was just to ensure that when they put me under the laser, the doctor can see my eyes and go, yes, this eye, yes, this eye. Because some people only get it done on one eye at a time. But I was getting it done bilaterally. And I sat there for probably 30, 40 minutes letting that Valium kick in and just not caring about the world. They took me to the first station where the doctor looks in my eyes and he has this plunger with some ink on it and puts 3 circles around my cornea, kind of as reference points for when he peels the flap back, he can lay it back down and have it line up properly. Then the next room they take me in is the big microscope. They lay me on the table. There are 2 bright lights and a microscope. He goes, stare at those bright lights. Okay, fine. Tapes my eyelids open, and he goes, your vision might get a little blurry now. And he puts a suction cup over my eye and presses down on it. He's like, all right, you're going to feel some pressure. And he says, here comes the microscope. This is where your vision might get blurry, or you might go blind. And he presses down on it as he's saying that, and I just go completely black. Couldn't see a thing. Like, oh, well, I guess if this is what going blind is like, it kind of sucks. So they repeat that on the other eye then. And what they're doing there is they're creating the flap by just firing a laser into my eye to put a bunch of bubbles under it and then cutting around those bubbles.
Oh, dude, this is awful.
And then they
awful.
They take me out, set me in a chair for 20 minutes to let the bubbles kind of dissipate. And then they take me into the actual laser room. And I lay down on this table and they slide me under the laser. And there's this brilliant white circle light with a red dot flashing in the middle of it. And doctor immobilizes my head and he's like, don't move. I'm like, oh, great. It's like saying, don't think of an elephant. Now I want to move. I got the wiggles. So he goes,
Your ass cheeks.
I'm gonna start loosening the flap. So he takes this pick that looks like what a dentist's use to pick the plaque off your teeth, only a lot finer, and starts peeling the surface of my eye back. And once he gets it loose, he goes, all right, focus on that red dot. That's going to be your target. If you lose the red dot, it means your eye has moved too much and the laser can't function properly. So he lifts the flap back and everything goes fuzzy. That brilliant, really crystal clear white circle just turns into a big blob. It just looked like a pile of yogurt with a red dot in the middle of it, just kind of blinking. He goes, all right, right eye, 15 seconds, focus. So I'm sitting there focusing, and this laser's just firing into my eye, and I can hear it. It just sounds like a machine gun shooting into your eye.
Eric, this is horrible.
But when he lays the flat back down, crystal clear vision.
Like instantly.
It was a little foggy at first, and then he did the other eye. The other eye took 17 seconds because I had a little bit of astigmatism on there. But under the microscope and under the laser, less than 5 minutes, 10 minutes total for a 3.5 hour procedure. So I stayed for an hour. But by the end of yesterday, I had almost perfect vision. And today it's absolutely perfect.
That's amazing. It sounds
the
awful.
Coolest thing. Oh yeah. It was absolutely the coolest thing I've ever had done. It wasn't cheap, but
it does sound proper
Lord.
horrendous though.
But if you think about how much you spend on contacts and glasses and doctor's visits, and then you put a price tag on the convenience of, I don't need to wear contacts. I don't need to take them with me when I go on vacation. I don't need to worry about glasses. Now I can go swimming. I can go swim in the ocean. I don't need to worry about any of this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to get it done, but I couldn't physically do that. That sounds awful.
It really wasn't that bad, dude.
It sounds awful.
Nah. For what you get on the other side, it's incredible. Because I haven't been able to see, and my prescription wasn't that bad, but I haven't been able to see properly without corrective lenses since I was like 13.
Wow.
So for me to be able to just wake up in the morning and see everything, worth the price tag.
I'm not blind anymore.
Not blind.
Oh my god.
Good Lord, this is what people see.
I have to say, I spent most of my life until I was about, I'd say 16, not wearing glasses all the time. And honestly, my life must have been a blur because the first time I got contacts and wore them all the time, I was like, is this what the world looks like?
That's color?
It was amazing.
Yeah, it's definitely not cheap. It's not the cheapest thing I've done.
Yeah, I had a look at it, and they have different levels, don't they? Like eye LASIK and
that's the one I had done. It's like the most revolutionary one. It's the first one that's been approved for use by the military, and it's the tip of the nipples.
So what's the difference?
Finer laser, they create a thinner flap, faster healing time, more accurate. The laser corrects like 20,000 times a second. So if your eye does waver while you're looking at that red dot, the laser will correct with it.
It's amazing what they can do, isn't it?
I think it's proof of aliens.
I know. I just can't imagine how they even started doing this.
Some guy just sitting around in his knickers one day going, I'm going to fire a laser into somebody's eye. Maybe they'll see better.
It probably was. It's incredible, really. Well, congratulations on your new eyesight. I'm very happy for you.
Thank you. At least I didn't have to get the one done with the blade like they used to do. They'd put a knife over your eye and slice the top of your eye off.
Oh, fucking hell, that's horrible.
My uncle had it done like that in Australia back in the 90s. Still loves it. It was
awful,
great.
Awful.
Yeah.
Awful person.
No.
Doesn't it decline over time? You have to...
Well, when I hit 40 or 50, I'm going to need reading glasses anyway, but that's not due to the degradation of the LASIK. That's because the lens in your eye becomes stiff and isn't able to flex and allow you to focus on things that are closer. So that's just a genetic thing, aging. But since I'm only 30...
Eye facts with factory sealed.
Since I'm so young, I'll probably get 20 years out of this.
You're young. I thought you were like 82.
83.
Huh? Looking fine for 83.
Looking good.
Yeah.
So what's new with you, Dan? Let's talk about you. I want to hear about you.
Nothing that exciting. No,
Nothing.
nothing.
You can't
Nothing
beat
major.
lasers in
Nothing
the
major.
eye?
No. Most exciting thing this week was I paid. I'm going away for 2 days next week and only paid £33 to stay in a hotel, which I
Yeah, but
thought
how
was
much
a
did you
good
pay for
price.
travel?
Nothing. We're taking the car, so we will pay at the time.
You'll pay gas.
Yes, petrol, dear.
Ah, it's gasoline.
Petroleum, I think you'll find.
How many gallons are you
Unleaded
going to put in?
petroleum. 88.
That's a lot of gallons.
We do it in liters.
So you'll put in like 612 liters?
No, like 20.
Ew.
I don't even look. I just put the thing in and just go, yeah, fill it up. Crack on.
Speaking of cars, I'm in the market for a new car and I'm going to try to get myself on the waiting list for one of the new Teslas next Wednesday.
Ooh, I don't know what that is.
You don't know what a Tesla is?
We don't have Teslas over here.
Oh man, you're just such a look up Tesla Model 3. It's what I want. My buddy
Can't
got
have
a
one.
what's that?
You can't have one.
I'm gonna get one. It's gonna
It's
be
horrible.
it's gonna be my thing.
It's horrible.
My buddy's got the Type S, and good lord, they're fun.
You should get a Reliant Robin
Oh yeah, and be like Jeremy Clarkson and just destroy it.
and a clown horn. But
Daniel,
the ham horn.
Daniel,
Yes.
I saw
Yes.
something that I think we should talk about for a minute. Video
What?
game related.
My God.
The RetroBlox.
Yeah, I saw this. Why is it?
This is a console kind of that will support games from the NES, Super Nintendo, Genesis, Atari, TurboGrafx, and an optical drive add-on for PlayStation, Sega CD, and PC Engine that would allow you to play all of those on one console. I just read about this morning, so my knowledge on it is a bit thin. But apparently, it can read those games and then store them.
It has something called hybrid emulation
Ooh.
or something to that effect.
It sounds a little bit like the Retron 5.
Sounds like it's too good to be true, doesn't it? Really?
Apparently, they are gearing up for a Kickstarter campaign in April.
Yeah, I just feel like this is one of those things that'll get made and nobody will buy.
I mean, I think it's cool, and I would put a price tag on this of $50.
Yeah, it'd
Like,
be more than that.
If it hits the $50 price range, I would be all over it.
Yeah,
Because you're right, it probably won't function very well. It'll be like the ooh-yah.
Ooh yeah, ooh yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that would have been a better console
I like
name.
it better as ooh yeah. As in, I've just got my nuts trapped in something.
But I mean, some of us might go, oh, yeah.
I don't think anybody did for that. But
Maybe
actually, that was one of the big first Kickstarter successes. It made a fortune, and my God, that was a flop.
Well, most people just ended up using it as an emulation box, and then Raspberry Pi came out.
Yes. I like Raspberry Pi.
I think emulation's really going to start to find a new foothold here coming forward because we're starting to hit the age where all of these old cartridges don't work anymore.
Well, this is the argument with emulation, isn't it? I mean, you can, obviously, from a copyright standpoint, technically you're not meant to, but it's so hard to get hold of some games now. Especially with like Nintendo going back on their we don't know what they're doing with the virtual console for the Switch and stuff. No backward compatibility now as well.
Well, for a while, the Library of Congress, I believe, started cataloging video games because video games are an important part of culture. They're an important part of our history to see where we started, where we've been, and just look back through the progression of video games. But nobody has really taken the responsibility of whose job is it to preserve this stuff. And emulation is the best way we have to preserve it. But so many things are getting lost to history simply because nobody's taking the time, or there are too many legal issues and red tape to jump through. So it kind of puts the onus back on the developers and the owners of this material to preserve it for everybody.
Yeah, I think what's going to be the problem with the RetroBlox, I'm just reading it now, and they've got an FAQ which says, "Can I install games and ROMs to RetroBlox?" It says yes and no. RetroBlox is primarily made for people who own physical copies of games. You would not be able to simply load up an SD card full of ROMs, plug it in, and suddenly have a huge library available, as we do not support or advocate games you personally own on physical cartridges or discs to the system in an iPod/iTunes type relationship. So basically, what it's saying is you can't, for example, get just loads of ROMs and chuck them on. You have to have the cartridge or the disc.
Huh. I mean, I guess that's okay.
It is, but I feel that's going to limit its abilities.
Well, if you look at somebody like me who has a massive library from a wide variety of consoles, to be able to just have one box hooked up to the TV that could play all of those, albeit it would be an emulation version of that.
I mean, it would be good, but you're probably a small section of the market with that type of game library. Most people have probably wanted to relive the games they've lost, I feel.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people are, I guess that was my impression at first was, oh, this is an emulation box. We'll be able to store it on there. So I guess that brings it back to the whole who's going to preserve all of this stuff. You look at Sony.
There's probably a workaround to get games working on it.
Well, just like people did with the NES Mini, they were starting to put new games on there. But look at companies like Sony and Xbox and Nintendo who currently support putting their back catalog on newer consoles. They have the means, and clearly they have the fan base that's asking for it. So the fact that with the 3DS and the Wii U, they did not have as many virtual console games as they could have, it's mind-boggling.
It is. They could have made an absolute bomb, like N64 and GameCube games, if they got that running.
Oh, yeah. And
I mean, I hope they do that for the Switch, because
I won't pretend to know that I know all of the ins and outs of how that works, because Nintendo doesn't own the rights to every game that launches on their console.
Yeah.
So then you have to tie in the developers and find out where to appropriate those royalties, and that could be a little bit of a headache. And what if that studio is dead? Who gets the money then?
Me. So I hear you're debating getting the Switch again.
I'm going to.
You were definitely going to.
I think one person on this show needs to get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope
it turns out good.
I do too.
Not one of us has got an Xbox One.
Well, I think that's for obvious reasons.
I am the Xbox One's backward compatibility thing is a big pro for me with it nowadays. I mean, I have a lot of old Xbox games. I mean, I would love it for the PS4 played the PS3. I know why it can't. Well, it can if they emulate it in a certain way, but I imagine it would be complicated. But that PlayStation Now thing they've got going on is just a complete waste of time, in my opinion.
I think it's a proof of concept, though. The fact that they're still being supported and still putting new titles on there is a good sign, because I think we are going to hit an era where games will only be digitally distributed.
Bastards.
And it will go to some sort of Netflix model.
I hope not.
I think we can only do that successfully once everybody hits a certain bandwidth of internet.
Well, that's not going to be coming to pity me anytime soon.
Yeah, we just moved, the neighborhood we moved into, we were able to, for an extra $5 a month, Dan.
$5?
That is 1 cup of coffee less per month. I upgraded my internet from 50 megabytes down and 5 up, which is great, to 350 down and 30 up.
My God.
I downloaded a
You spent
beta.
$5 on a coffee.
Well, if you get like a venti latte or something, it's $4.89 or something.
You know you can get one from the house and it'll cost you an out.
Yeah, I know that, but if I'm out and about or if I'm out with customers or whatever and get coffee, it's what it
You get a
costs.
cup of coffee.
I downloaded a beta for a PC game that was 20 gigs, done in like 10 minutes.
For honor.
For Honor.
I've started downloading it, but mine takes a bit longer.
Well, by the
Not as
time you
long,
get it
not as long as
downloaded,
it used to.
by the time you get it downloaded, the beta will be over.
I know. Hey, it would have taken about a week on the old connection. It's going to take 3 hours.
So
It is 16 gig to be fair.
I want to take a minute to talk about it. There are times where modern games leak into the show. It's inevitable. Like when Breath of the Wild comes out, that's pretty much what we'll be talking about.
Mm-hmm.
For Honor is interesting. It is a game that I just found out about 3 days ago. No idea it even existed. Had you known anything about it?
Yeah, I remember it being at E3 last year.
It's a very technical sword fighting game between
They have
samurais and
all the different stances and things, and
yeah, you can be a samurai, a knight, or a Viking. And everything has to I played it on PC first, and it's really complicated. Because it's all done through mouse movements for where you're positioning your sword, and then looking at the other character's stance and where you're going to block, and have your mouse on the right side or the left side, and straight up is block above, and then there's dash rolls and kickbacks and throw strikes. It's very technical. We were playing it the other night on PS4. It felt better on PlayStation than it does on PC. But the multiplayer it's a blast.
it does look different. It's Ubisoft, right?
Yeah, I'm just not convinced there's enough really to hook me for more than a month.
No, I'm still addicted to Overwatch, so
I've gotten really heavily into Heroes of the Storm.
yeah, I find myself nowadays playing online games a lot more.
I think a lot of it depends on, with those types of games, who you have access to play with. My circle of friends here, we all play Heroes of the Storm. So I figured if I want to be playing games with these guys, this is a game I have to learn and get good at. And if you don't know what Heroes of the Storm is, it's Blizzard's MOBA game. And good Lord, is it fun.
Blizzard must be worth a fortune nowadays.
I don't like MOBAs. I did not like League of Legends. I didn't like Dota.
You liked Awesome Notes?
I loved Awesome Knots, but people will argue that's not a MOBA. But I've spent actual money on this game.
Oh God!
One of my buddies owns everything in it. I'm like, dude, how much have you spent? He goes, I don't want to add it up.
It's a microtransactions, is it?
Well, every so often a new hero comes out, and new hero is $10. And there's probably 25, 30 heroes.
Oh God!
But they had bundles on sale last week that were 10 heroes for $20. Like, done.
Oh, they could just include them as standard.
Well, it's a free game. They have to make their money somehow.
Well, it shouldn't be free.
But they're constantly updating. So I understand that. You don't need to buy the heroes because you get gold in the game that you can then spend to buy the heroes. It just takes a lot longer. So you can play the game and never spend a dime and be just as good as everybody else.
You're just lazy.
And I just wanted to... Yeah, I'm lazy.
That's about right.
I finally caved and bought a copy of Nio.
That was Neo.
I think it's Nio. I think Neo would be Neo.
I think it's Neo,
You think so?
as in Matrix.
I don't think it is. I think you're wrong.
It's so. I was saying this to the missus the other day. It's so strange. This year there are two games coming out, both 4 letters, both begin with Ni, with nothing to do with each other. So you've got Neo or Nio and Nier as well.
Oh, Nier. Nier?
Nier.
Oh, it's the
Yeah.
Nier Automata, right?
Naya. I think it's Nier.
Yeah, yeah. Just like it's
Yeah.
Konami.
Yes, it is.
Uh,
Shut up in your face.
the only reason I bought it is because, first of all, it looks fantastic. It's gotten stellar reviews,
Mhm.
but it's impossible to find.
I know, man. I went to buy it myself earlier. Went around 3 shops. None have it in.
Yeah, Amazon 2 month wait.
Why?
I don't know. This is reminiscent of when the first Demon Souls came out. Impossible to find. The only
I
way I got one of the original Demon Souls is I had a friend who owned a used game store that would sell new games, and he had one copy. I'm like, dude,
Wow.
I want it.
I had this problem back in the day with Vice City. You couldn't get it anywhere. It was
I
so
don't
hard
remember
over.
that.
It must have just been over here.
Yeah, right now, Nio usually ships within 1 to 2 months on
What?
Amazon. Right now,
Have you tried it yet?
I haven't. So we were at Target yesterday, and I just wanted to see if they had it. And walked up to the guy at the electronics counter and had him type in. He's like, "Yeah, we should have 3 floor copies." Couldn't find it anywhere. Went in the back, couldn't find it. He's like, "Well, I guess our inventory is wrong." So I was like, "All right, well, whatever. I guess I'm not going to get it today." And the GameStop down by us didn't have it, and like, well, I guess I'll eventually stumble on it. We're walking around the store, and all of a sudden I hear this, "Sir, sir!" And this guy that I was talking to was chasing after me. He's like, "I found it." He had 3 copies of it. I'm like, okay, I'll take it. I mean, that's customer service right there.
Yeah. Well done, him.
But it looks fantastic.
It does look a lot of fun. It's basically Dark Souls with samurai, right? And
With
slightly different stances.
Yeah, and just as confusing, just as deep, and 10 times more loot.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Sold.
I'm
I
super
There's
sold on it.
so many games coming out early this year that I want.
I'm saving myself for Nio. We all were going to get For Honor till the beta came out, and we all kind of went, I'll get it for $30.
Hmm. I might
But
get I might get Neo.
I'm pretty sold on Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, that looks good.
Oh,
I wasn't even on my radar. I forgot about that.
yeah, that comes out February 28th. And then,
Oh
like, a
God.
week later, the Switch comes out.
And then
Breath of the
March, you
Wild.
have the new. You will be interested, but the new Mass Effect's out in March, and Breath of the Wild.
March is 100% dedicated to Breath of the Wild. There's just nothing else that I'll be playing.
It's end of March, though, isn't it?
No, it's March 3rd.
I thought it was March the 30th.
No, dude, we are. No, it launches with the Switch.
Ah,
We are 1, 2. We're almost 2 weeks away from Breath of the Wild.
seems like it's been in development for so long.
I'm super excited for it, man.
I do think it looks like a very, very good game.
Yeah, it says item will be released March
Zeldas
3rd.
haven't really ever let me down.
Um, yes and
No,
no.
let's not mention Link to the Past.
No, I was gonna say Twilight Princess.
I like Twilight Princess a lot.
I don't know what it was. It just didn't sit well with me. I
I
did
was
not.
actually, honestly, that was probably one of the first Zelda games I played properly, and I loved it.
See, I grew up playing them, and I hit this
Mm.
one and just went, eh. And I have yet to touch Skyward Sword. Never even seen it loaded.
Play it; it's so good.
You think that's one I should cave and just buy on the Wii U Virtual
Really,
Console?
yes, really, yes. Honestly, man, you will love it.
I mean, I'm not going to right now because Breath of the Wild's 2 weeks away.
If there was ever a game that was a system seller for the Wii's capabilities, it was Skyward Sword. Utterly
Yeah,
fantastic.
I really wanted to play it.
Lazy bastard.
I picked up Twilight Princess HD Collection or the HD remake and started playing through it, and it's still just it lacks the hook. All of the other Zelda games, I'm hooked in the first 3 hours.
Hmm.
This one, like, oh my god, ugh.
It is a bit of a slog at the start, but it gets better.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
guess.
upcoming in the future as well, we've got Dark Souls 3's DLC, which I might get.
I I don't get any of the DLCs for those. I bought Astorius of
They're
the
worth
Abyss.
getting. I'd wait until they both come out and get them together because they had a good
Yeah.
15 hours of extra content, probably. I got the DLC for Bloodborne. My God, I've never played something so difficult.
Yeah, I heard that was hard.
The last boss is impossible. I must have tried it 80 times. It kills me every time.
Hmm.
In April, Ukulele comes out.
Ooh, that's gonna be a good one. I think I
I'm
might get
really,
Ukulele
really
on the
looking forward
Switch.
to that. Oh yeah, they're making it for Switch now, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Horizon Zero Dawn looks very good.
I think that's one I'm gonna relegate to. I'll wait for a price drop,
I
just
think
because it
that's
comes
going to
out
be
at
Sony's big new franchise.
well,
I
it comes
really
out at
do.
such a bad time.
I don't know this. I think it's a time when people will buy things.
But it comes out 2 weeks. No, it comes out the week before. Actually, 4 days before Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, but if you people who haven't got a Nintendo console won't care.
Yeah, I
So
suppose.
I also wanted to mention to you this week. I noticed that there's an article came out which apparently they are developing an anime series based on Castlevania for
Oh, it looks so
Netflix.
good. It looks so good. I cannot wait.
I know, but it's just so random, out of left field. I was like, it's pretty cool though.
This year is a good year for an anime series.
The guy has said, "I personally guarantee it will be the first good video game adaptation."
It's gonna shit the bed.
You mean you didn't like the Super Mario film?
I mean,
What about Street Fighter?
how about starts with a
Well,
B.
Mortal Kombat.
The Mortal Kombat movies were fantastic. You can
They're
shut up.
so bad, but they're good.
Then there was God. Why can't I think of the? It starts with a B. Blade. I
What?
can't. There's some video game movie series that's just garbage. It was made by Yui Bowl. I gotta look it up, otherwise it's gonna drive me nuts.
Blood Rain?
Was it Blood Rain? Did he make a movie on that?
I don't know.
It was. Hold on, I'll find it. Yeah, it was Blood Rain. Yeah, garbage.
Oh.
I knew it started with a B.
Well done, me. I'm
Yeah.
impressed with that. I love on the old Mortal Kombat film. I think it's on the second one where she meets Sindel. It's just so bad. There's a YouTube clip of it, and Katana goes, "Mother, you're alive!" And then she points at her really dramatically and goes, "Yes, but too bad. You will die." It's just so good.
They are really cheesy.
I
will admit, though,
I love Street Fighter as well. It's so cheesy.
I really enjoy the Resident Evil movies.
Yeah, I know you do.
The first two were pretty bad, but 3 and on are great. Resident Evil Apocalypse is such a good movie.
I've only seen the first two.
Oh.
Stars.
We'll talk about that in a couple weeks when we do our
Resident Evil 3.
yeah, because they crapped the bed with that. They really ruined that adaptation.
They did.
It's going to be a good summer for gaming.
It is. But usually a summer lull. So I'm happy with that.
Yes, I am as well.
Hopefully we'll get something. Because what's announced for the end of the year?
Obviously, Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Definitely another Assassin's Creed.
Call of Duty, they've said, is going to go back to its roots this year.
What, the Revolutionary War?
Well, that I think they mean in a combat standpoint. So they're going to get rid of all the space combat and the boosting and stuff like that.
Well, I think they saw how well Battlefield 1 did, even though it didn't have all that technical weaponry.
Yeah, I just feel a lot of people apparently didn't sell as well last year.
I mean, Battlefield 1 is great.
I think Assassin's Creed's coming back this year. Rumor has it set in Egypt.
I mean, now they're just milking it.
Yeah, but they took a year off last year.
What, so they can make a game that doesn't launch with people's faces missing?
Well, hopefully, but it is Ubisoft, so we'll see.
Yeah. Which is, I thought that For Honor was just going to be a technical mess, but I didn't come across any issues.
I think it depends on how long they've been making it, and the early cycle of Assassin's Creed must have. It just got lost, that series. It started off so intriguing.
Two
The
is so
story,
good. Oh
yeah,
man.
two in Brotherhood were
Oh
fantastic.
yeah. Brotherhood is the best out there. And then
Black Flag, the pirate one was good.
see, and I didn't play that because I'd lost interest after 3. I
You'd
didn't
enjoy
even
that
get
one.
through 3.
You get a pirate ship. What more do you want?
You get a pirate ship in 3.
Yeah, but this one is all about that, and you can sail around the Caribbean shooting at stuff, and
Yeah, that does sound awesome.
it is pretty good. And I can't really think what else is going to come out. I mean, you got the DLC for Final Fantasy 15. I think E3 this year is going to have a few announcements.
When do you predict we're going to start seeing the next rumblings of consoles?
Not for a few years. Not with the Pros and the Scorpio coming out.
You think we've hit a new trend where consoles are going to have midlife cycle upgrades, like the physical consoles, like the DS has done? Because the DS and the Nintendo's been doing that for years with the DS.
I hope not, because I don't like that.
I like it because it gives you the ability to continue playing one ecosystem with improvements to the console. The original 3DS was great. 3DS XL was really good. The new 3DS XL is fantastic. That extra C stick, the processing power, the loading speed, it's totally worth every penny.
Yeah, but at the same
But it's
time,
the
I don't
same
want to spend a
ecosystem.
fortune on a console and then have to spend the same amount again.
I mean, I guess I get that.
That's why consoles, like PC gamers, know they eventually going to have to upgrade their components, whereas a console gamer knows that you just get a box and it plays a game. And that's all I want.
I used
I
to
don't care about
uh,
upgraded graphics and stuff.
I used to rag on PC gaming for a while until I started upgrading consistently. Dude, you can't get better graphics.
Well, no, you can't.
I was
But
playing the
I
For
don't
Honor
care about
beta.
that. Gameplay is key for me.
I get it, but if you have the setup, playing The Witcher on a 34-inch ultra wide monitor on ultra settings, it's the best.
Yeah, yeah, I
There's a
guess.
convenience to be had for the console and sitting on a couch and like you plug this in, you don't need to worry about it. But if you have the means to get a setup like that, it's the best way to play a game.
No, I don't disagree with that, but just for me, I prefer the convenience thing.
And there's a tactical advantage in some things, like playing Heroes of the Storm, having the extra screen space to see. We did a LAN party a few nights ago where I took a smaller monitor over that wasn't ultra wide, and it didn't feel the same.
No.
Yeah, diddums.
Oh, bless you, cotton shark.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just not for me.
You know what else wasn't for me?
Is that a beautiful segue?
Finishing Mario RPG.
Oh, I'm so
But
disappointed.
I have a valid excuse, and you cannot deny that I don't have a valid excuse.
Having laser eyes is not a valid excuse.
I mean, yeah, it's true. I should have been able to plow through it faster.
Just fry your laptop.
So last week, we went through about the first half of Mario RPG.
We did.
We tried to finish it for this week. Dan got close. I've beaten it in the past, so I do have recollection of what's happening. But
Dan got so close. It's horrible how close he got. I'm on the last boss, and I was trying to get to the end by the time the show started, and I got to about an hour ago, and I was like, I'm gonna have to start the show. The last boss killed me, and I was like, I can't be bothered to do it again.
oh yeah, because you have to go through all of those bosses.
No, there's two stages to him. You can save just before you get to him.
Oh, that's good. So we ended in Moleville just after Punchinello.
Oh yeah,
The second half of this game has so much more character than the first half.
I feel it goes more adult in the second half.
It does.
The the mushroom toad who's clearly a stoner. Did you
Then,
meet him?
probably.
This, I think it's in the village where everybody's the seaside town where everybody's kidnapped,
Yeah.
and there's a one of the toads is like he's a mushroom collector, and you take mushrooms to him,
Oh
but
yeah.
he sounds like a Rastafarian.
Yeah. He's like, I won't know what it's like till I eat it. I won't know if it's a special mushroom till I eat it.
I was like, that's so controversial for a Mario game.
Speaking of which, in that same town, okay, so we're jumping ahead a little bit here, but after you go down into the sunken ship, you get the star. You come back to town because the star has been stolen from you. Or no, you have it. You come back into town, and Smithy's gang is there to steal the star from you. And if you say no, they charge into this
Oh
house where they're
yes.
holding all of the villagers hostage and torture them by tickling them.
It sounds very saucy.
But the way that the text is written out makes it sound like there's very
Sexual things going on in this
sexual
house.
things happening.
Really does.
And even the way, cause so they all come back, and the leader of the gang goes, "You wouldn't want us to torture this old man by dot 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 tickling him?" Question mark.
It's weird. There's another sexual reference in this game. Apparently you can find toadstools question mark behind the fireplace in
Ooh,
Mushroom Kingdom. But in the original Japanese version, this item was called Peach's Triple X.
what?
Yeah.
I mean,
Uh,
that's
and it is rumored to be Peach's vibrator.
ooh.
If you have Princess Peach in your party and try and get the item, she will tell you off and say, "Don't go near people's private items."
That's funny.
It's so weird.
That is funny. Um, so after Moleville, you go to Booster Pass.
Oh yeah, I really like this bit.
Booster Tower is great, and I kind of wish Tom were on here because he might be able to appreciate this. Booster himself is like the Mario equivalent of Gammy Gammy Devil from Popolo Croix.
Really.
Oh yeah, very similar. Really odd, really eccentric. Looks just like him. Like if you Google a picture of Gammy Gammy Devil right now, and you'll see that he looks very similar to Booster.
I'm on it.
Gammy Gammy Devil.
Oh yeah. With the big smile
Yep,
and the mustache.
very similar. The goofy hat, the big eyebrows, the red clothes.
I really wish I'd played that game with you guys.
It's so good. So
Yeah.
Booster has this giant tower of fun that you need to get to the top of. And this is where they really have the first section of 3D isometric platforming. And I was afraid that this was going to start to get cumbersome like it did in Landstalker. But it
Landstalker.
didn't. I never found a section in this game where the jumps were hard to make.
You didn't get to the last dungeon.
You're right. I mean, I've played it in the past. I don't remember that.
Yeah, Bowser's Keep. Kind of tricky.
But I think they were smart to have checkered flooring
Yeah,
because I think
compared to Landstalker, it's about 8 times easier. So
yeah, because I think the checkered flooring gives you some visual cues of where the floors separate and how far apart they are. So it just gives you that little extra bit to help.
there you have also shadows from objects and boxes and things, which are a
Yeah.
bit of help. I think it's a bit more generous as well.
Yes. So when you get into Booster's Tower, this is where you meet Bowser outside the tower. This apparently is where he and Peach landed after they were kicked out of Bowser's castle. Peach landed in the castle, or in the tower. Bowser landed outside. Booster saw that as, oh, hey, this princess fell into my lap. We're going to get married.
As you do.
So then you meet Bowser, who is not his normal rough and tumble self. But then he
No,
tries to put on this big outer facade, and he allows Mario to join the Koopa Squad.
the Koopa Troop.
Koopa Troop? Troopa Koop.
Troop Koop. Is this the bit where they break down the doors? I can't remember.
Yeah, it is.
Where you have to do the timed running.
No, that's a little later.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, that's when you get to Maryville.
Oh, yeah.
But this one, there's a neat little homage to the NES version of the game. There's a room with a curtain where if you go behind the curtain, you come back out as 2D Mario with all the old 8-bit music. Did you find that bit?
Yes, I did. It was really cool. And then he realizes and runs back in.
Yeah. Like, oh, I'm not me.
I'm not a me.
It's all
I'm
me.
I'm a 2D.
The boss at the top of this, Knife Guy and Crate Guy, were ridiculously easy.
Yeah, they were. I found a lot of the bosses very easy in this game.
I struggled on a couple.
I think I did a bit more grinding than you.
Probably. Would you
Did
think
fight
of...
every enemy?
Nah, not all of them.
You know, rookie mistake. Always fight every fight in an RPG.
What did you think of Booster Hill?
What happened on Booster Hill?
That is where you're running up the hill away from the Shy Guy, or from the, not the
Oh,
Shy
that
Guys,
was
the
fun,
Sniffets.
but rock hard. Fun, but rock hard.
Yeah, I only was able to catch up to Peach once.
I got 3. Because if you catch up to Peach, every time you get a flower, which increases your flower power.
Ugh, I wish I would have put a little bit more effort into it.
I thought about reloading and trying again, but then I was like, nah.
Eh.
Eh.
Yeah. So you get to the top of Booster, make it to Maryvale, and this is where you have to break down the doors, but they lock themselves in the church. And the only way in is to go in through the kitchen. And did you chat with Chef Tort?
I did chat with Chef Tort.
Did you step on his cake?
I don't think so.
Oh, dude, if you step on his cake, he gets so pissed off.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It's pretty fun.
There's a lot of secret stuff in this game that it's easy to miss.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not like side questy stuff. It's just chat with this person, do that, or piss this person off and do that. But there wasn't a whole lot to do in Maryvale.
No, not really. Just to see if they had a weird little mini game where you had to collect items and save Princess Peach from Booster. And then Princess Peach joins the party.
Fight a giant cake.
Yes, a giant sentient cake.
The bosses in this game are so weird.
Yeah. It's just the design of the game as well, like the kind of weird way it's made. They all look so odd. And especially the Smithy's gang. They look very odd.
Yeah, it's just so out of the norm for a Mario game. But I suppose they're coming from beyond Star Road.
Yeah.
So Booster comes in, eats the cake. That's the end. Peach, you have to take her all the way back to Mushroom Kingdom. Peach is supposed to stay there, and as you're leaving, she jumps out the window with her parasol and joins your party, and you go on your way.
Yes.
To Seaside, where I don't care what you said. I thought Star Hill was emotional.
You cried.
Well, no, it added that extra element of personality and
I wish I
humanity
could be
to the
a
game.
plumber like my brother Mario.
Well, I mean, that one's goofy, but some of these other ones... So you have to go through Star Hill where people cast all of their wishes and they land here as little stars. And you can read what they are. But the most impactful one is the one that's clearly from Mallow.
Yes.
Where he just basically wishes for his parents... No, it's his parents wishing for him to find his way home. So it's not from Mallow, it's from his parents.
But I feel that that's only the only kind of character who has any massive development in this game.
Yeah, there isn't a whole lot of character development.
No, you get all these party members, and in RPGs usually they have their own sections where they go somewhere and then something will happen to them specifically. But in this, it's kind of just Bowser wants his keep back. Peach joins the party for the crack.
Yeah.
Gino is
Mario's.
a weird puppet thing from Beyond the Star Road. He wants to build the Star Road back.
I mean, that's about as
And
much character development as you need for each person. Mario's just in this to save the world and save Peach.
yeah, I understand it. It just, but if you play it all the way through, you're kind of like, well, they haven't really. I was expecting a side quest for each, you know?
Gino would have been a better character to flesh out more.
Yeah.
But Star Hill is the easiest star in the game to get. All you have to do is get to the end and touch the star. There's no boss battle, there's nothing. You just walk up, touch it, it's yours.
Yeah, it was pretty damn easy.
And then you get to Seaside Town that we were talking about before with uh, a star had fallen into the ocean. So you need to go down into the sunken ship and fight
This bit was
Jonathan
difficult.
Jones.
Well, it wasn't difficult, it was lengthy.
Very lengthy. Mainly because there's one room where you have to discover a code.
Yeah, so there's 6 different rooms with different puzzles inside, which range from reasonably easy to almost impossible.
I just looked. I didn't want to spend time going through all the rooms.
I did them all and I still couldn't figure it out. I'm terrible with riddles.
Oh,
I was like, what is it?
I
And
think
it turns
the
out the code word was pearls.
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 The bosses in this section I found were particularly difficult. The calamari itself in general, because you had 3 stages of it that you had to go through. First one had 3 tentacles, 200 HP each. Second one had 3 more, 200 HP each. Final one was the calamari with 3 more tentacles, 200 HP each. And then the calamari himself with X amount of HP.
I didn't struggle at all with this boss.
I didn't struggle. It's just hard because you really have to manage your health. And you can only carry a certain number of items.
See, I went through the game mainly using Mallow, Mario, and Bowser from this point.
You have
And
to have Bowser. He's a tank.
yeah, and then towards the end, I switched Mallow out for Peach because Peach has a move where she heals the entire group at the
Group
same
hug.
time. Yes.
Group hug.
And my God, you need that towards the end
Oh, yeah.
because I'll get to that anyway.
But Jonathan Jones is... I actually struggled with him the first time because I'd kind of rushed through some of this. There are some neat little hidden items. Did you go into the room with the Mario clone?
I don't think so.
You would have had to get around it, but you walk into this room and
Oh, yes, I did. Yes, yes.
there's a secret treasure chest in there where you have to jump and hit a platform at just the right time, and then that makes a hidden treasure chest appear. Then you have to get the other Mario in position to jump on his head and then jump to have him launch you into the treasure chest to get a secret
Really?
weapon.
What item is it?
Let me check. I've got my book in front of me. It's a Kirikiro Cola. Sorry, not a weapon. Which is great because it heals you and restores all your hit points, which is important for the boss battle.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So you make
There's
it down.
there's a lot of hidden items in this game, actually.
There are, I think, 40 hidden treasure chests, and there's a in Monstro Town where all the monsters live. There is an actual treasure chest that you can talk to who tells you how many you have left.
Oh, I found that.
Yeah, really interesting town.
There's an item as well which tells you when there's hidden boxes in a room. It's
I
called the
didn't know
signal
that.
ring.
Huh.
The guy called Croco, you meet him again later on and he drops it in
Interesting.
Nimbus Town, I think.
Yeah, I didn't make it to Nimbus Town.
But I couldn't be bothered to get them all.
So Jonathan Jones, you get down on the way. There is a new enemy, Dry Bones, that you have to fight, and every one you go into combat with is like 3 Dry Bones and a huge Dry Bones overlord, and those battles take so long.
Not if you use Thunderbolt. Kills them all
Yeah.
instantly. You just need to use a special attack on them and it kills them.
See, I didn't have Mallow in my party.
Ah. So I did at this point, thankfully.
You get up to Jonathan Jones, and he's got his crew of cronies that you have to fight against, and they're easy to wipe
Sharks.
through. But then you fight Jonathan Jones, and halfway through the battle, he turns red and challenges Mario to one-on-one. And the first time I died because I burned through some of my items and didn't save them for this. And I didn't have Super Flame yet.
I hate it when RPGs do this.
They require you
Okay.
to have a certain item or a certain skill.
Yeah, I just when historically you'll have say three go-to party members, and then they'll take away those party members, and you have to use the ones you haven't been using,
Yeah.
and it's just rock hard. Like I think that happens on Final Fantasy A7 or A8 a couple of times, and it's just so annoying. Yeah, it's eight where Selfie's team has to go to Trivia
Oh,
Garden when it's
where
about to
you
be
split your
bombed.
team?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and half of them goes to the district prison, and half of them goes to Balam Garden.
I've played it enough now that I realize that when I get to that point, I put two good people with one
Yep.
really bad person
Hmm.
and kind of split it up that way. The next section after, well, actually, no, hold on. First, you get the star, you get back to town. That's when you discover that the people you originally met in Seaside were just cronies.
Yes, they're all acting odd though. So I was like,
Yes.
well, these are because they want the star off you, don't they?
Yes. And then he reveals himself as Yardovich, and you have to
Yeah,
go and fight him. That was a tough battle.
I can't remember that one.
He was just the giant looking sword in the red cape.
Oh yeah,
He
the one
kind of
that
looked
split,
like General Grievous
the
from
one that
Star Wars.
the one that split apart.
Yeah, he cloned himself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It took a while. I didn't find it difficult, but it was a lengthy battle.
Yeah. Um, did you talk to Frog Fuchsius, his student? Because he sells a bunch of items like an XP ring.
I did, yes, but I didn't have enough to get the XP ring at this point, and I left him alone.
I actually now had enough in the next section, Land's End, which was really difficult because it comprises Land's End, a desert, a dungeon, Monstro Town, and Bean Valley.
Yeah, it was long, wasn't it?
And confusing because once you get to the desert, you find these sand whirlpools with ants popping out of them. And you have to fight the ant, drop into that one because these ants have charted the desert. And you get to this giant wall. And you can't scale the wall. So then you have to find out how to get to Monstro Town by dropping down a very specific sand whirlpool. And you go down into this underground temple
Mm-hmm.
where you eventually get to a place where you have to have your fortune read by Bellum. And there are 3 Bellum statues on the wall with their tongues hanging out. And you can hit them in any order, but it does different things based on which order you hit them in. And ideally, you want to get them in an order where you get to meet and fight Bellum. And once you beat him, then you can move on to Monstro Town.
It took me 2 goes to do that.
Did you just guess the right order?
I guessed, yeah.
Ugh. I
The
I
first
was
time he
using the
was
strategy
the
guide.
first time he was sitting in the way and said he wanted a key, and I didn't have a key.
Yeah, so that is the vault. Did you actually get into the vault?
No, how do you get in?
You get to Monstro Town, and Monstro Town is really small. It's just one corridor along the side of a cliff. But did you see that key up above?
Yes, I did.
So if you walk into that room, did you see the thwomp sitting around the table?
Can't remember.
There's a
Yes.
thwomp and another enemy sitting around a table.
Uh-huh.
One of the clowns, those little doggies.
Yep.
If you talk to the thwomp, every time he pounds the ground, if you talk to him 7 times, the key falls down.
Really?
So you pick up the key, and then you have to go back in, have your fortune read, choose the correct one that allows you to go down and see Bellum at the vault. You give him the key, and he lets you in, and you get 8 free frog coins.
That's a lot of hassle for 8 frog coins.
It only took about 5 minutes,
Yeah.
but it was worth it
Sounds
because
like
it got me the double XP ring.
it's a collective experience for everyone.
Yeah, every battle you get twice the experience. Oh wait,
I suppose.
I think it's no. Hold on, I think it's that person that's wearing it.
Ah,
So yeah, it's not collective.
that would be good if it was collective.
Yeah, and then Bean Valley is where I ended up having to stop. I made it to the piranha the piranha boss battle, which is really tough.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
You fight the piranha, then one of the shy guys comes in, waters it. 2 heads come up. Kill both those. Comes back in. 3 heads pop up. Kill those. A monster head comes up. 2 small ones. You kill all those. A giant piranha head comes up.
It's easy.
Nah,
You didn't train enough.
I didn't. You'll have to tell us about Nimbus Land and Bowser's Keep because we're close to the end.
And the factory after that as well.
Smithy's factory.
Yes. Well, the next section is basically you climb. You find one of those blocks like from standard Mario where the beanstalks come out of them, and you can climb up it and go up into the clouds. You didn't go up here at all, then.
I did not.
Well, climbing up there is a ball ache because the beanstalks. This is where the platforming gets a bit tricky because you have to jump from beanstalk to beanstalk climbing up them, and I fell off loads of times. Absolutely tons of times. It's just such a hassle.
Okay.
But eventually you get up the top and you enter Nimbus Land, which is where the cloud people live, like Mallow. And there you get to the castle, and a lady called Valentina comes out, and she says, "Prince Mallow has returned." And then she brings out this giant bird thing.
It's the dodo bird, isn't it?
The dodo bird, yeah, he's actually called Dodo. And she brings him out and goes, "Prince Mallow has returned." And then all the people are going, "He's fatter than I remember." And she goes, "What's that? You want me to be your queen?" He goes, "I accept." Then everybody goes, "All right, fair enough," because they're all a bit thick.
Nobody's going to question the fact that he doesn't look like a cloud.
No, he just looks like a giant bird. And then it's up to... And then Mallow doesn't click on that he's the prince. He just goes... He actually says, "Oh, that's coincidental. The prince has got the same name as me."
He's a bit thick.
Just a bit. And you have to go and talk... To get into the castle, you have to go and talk to a sculptor who actually paints Mario gold and pretends he's a statue. And you have to take the statue inside, and then Valentina looks at it and he goes, "This is my newest work of art. It's called..." I can't remember what he says it's called because we've got a really stupid arty name. And he says, "Look at the way his mustache covers that sad frown, and yes, those lengthy bushy sideburns means he's a blue collar worker and stuff."
Oh my goodness.
She's like, "I love it. It's the next big thing." And she goes, "Go and put it in the statue hall." So the dodo bird, fake Mallow, goes and puts Mario on this like statue plinth, and then it begins a mini game where you have to... Basically, the bird cleans the statues by pecking them. I don't know how this works.
Okay.
It starts playing a tune. The bird starts coming towards Mario, and he like pecks at the statues, and you have to jump over him as he gets to Mario. And I've did it a couple of times, so I failed the third time, so I don't know what you get if you do it all the way through.
Okay.
But it was pretty good. And you also find out during this bit that Mallow's parents are currently ill and locked in a room. Well, she says they're ill. This is a bit of a plot hole, I think, this bit, because they do say that the king is ill and he needs the hot springs to heal. But after you chase Valentina out of the castle, then you have to come back to the castle, back through the clouds and stuff, and you fight the dodo bird and Valentina together. But at the start of the fight, the dodo bird takes Mallow away, and you have to fight the dodo bird as Mallow, like you did with Mario back in Jonathan Jones's section.
Uh-huh.
So if you haven't used Mallow much, you might struggle with that.
Which I haven't. But the thing that I do like about this game is that it doesn't just give XP to the people in your party.
No, I like that a lot as well. But if you haven't been buying the items like armor and weapons, you're going to struggle.
Yeah.
And then you beat that, and you also beat Valentina, which is an incredibly... This is where the boss battles start to get hard, Eric. Like pretty damn tricky, this one.
Yeah.
You
have to do certain move sets with certain items and just really manage your party a lot more tightly.
Yeah, this is the part where you start having to heal a lot more, basically, because she starts spamming like area of effect spells, which hit everybody for about 80 damage at the same time.
Ugh. See, and at the beginning of the game, I wasn't putting a whole lot of upgrade points into health. I was mainly doing attack.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't balancing myself.
I tried to, but it was hard to remember which one you did because it takes so long to level up on this game.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm at the end. I'm only level 22.
Wow.
So...
Where I quit, I was at 13.
Yeah, I mean, it just takes ages to level up. Compared to a normal RPG, you'd probably be pushing 70 if you just did the normal content.
Yeah.
So
we forgot
after you
to,
do...
Oh, go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry. You go.
You say there's one thing we forgot to talk about in Monstro Town, which is really cool. This is where Square shows through. There is a locked door where if you go in and talk to the neighbors, they talk about this character who lives next door named Culex. And his neighbors can hear him talking to himself through the walls. They hear him talking about a crystal and an evil something or other. And everybody's talking about, we only know about one shiny, what's a crystal? Is it like a shiny rock? And somebody says, I know where I've seen one. And it kind of hints to the shiny stone, which you can get in Moleville. But then you have to buy the firework from a mole, and then for 500 coins, trade the firework for the shiny stone from a young mole in the same town. That stone opens the door to an optional boss named Culex, which, if you look up a picture of him, is a traditional 2D style Final Fantasy sprite.
Have a look. I have heard of this. Oh, yeah.
And when you beat him, plays the Final Fantasy theme.
Nice touch.
Yeah. Really interesting. I mean, just a cool little, hey, guys, we're from Final Fantasy. We're going to throw this in here.
What do you get for beating him?
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't beat him. I didn't play it this time.
That's really cool.
Let's see. It says that
The quartz charm, a special accessory that boosts attack and defense by 50% and prevents instant death. That would be useful.
Yeah, that would be very useful. So, yeah, that was in Monstro Town. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, that's.
So
I was wondering where that was because I saw it referenced, and I wasn't sure where it was.
So after Nimbus, you go to the volcano, right?
Yes, you have to jump through the hot springs, down into the volcano, and it's pretty straightforward. This section, to be honest, it's basically there's some tricky platforming over some fire and stuff, but it's straightforward enough. And then you have to fight a fire dragon, who, after you beat it, also transforms into a second form of a skeleton dragon.
I have a question for you. I understand we do a lot of jokes on this show about mispronunciation, but his name, how do you in England pronounce his name?
What is it?
Czar.
Czar?
See, I see that and think of like the Russian czars, the rulers of Russia. When you see that spelled, it's Czar, czar.
Yeah, it could be that.
But the guy in Did You Know Gaming about this would pronounce it Caesar.
Oh.
Like Cesear, like the Roman
Nah,
Caesar.
I would say Czar.
Okay.
I'm with you for once.
Whew.
I know, right?
Let me take a note. Dan agreed with me.
Regardless, anyway, Czar was very difficult.
You fight a Zambone?
Is that what it's called? I didn't notice. I just hit it.
There's like a big zombie dragon with him too, right? Bone dragon?
No, he turns into that. He falls into the lava and it burns off his flesh.
Oh, okay. Got it.
I think.
But the boss after this is the goofiest boss in the game.
Oh, it's so good, this. Really good. The Axum Rangers. And they are a parody of Power Rangers.
Clearly, with Voltron and everything.
Yeah, there's 5 of them.
Not Voltron. Zordon. Sorry.
Zordon. Yeah, there's 5 of them. And they steal the star, and you have to run after them in a platforming section. And then you get to the top of the volcano, and they have a giant airship thing which comes from nowhere.
That's their leader named Blade, and he's this axe-looking ship. Cool, really cool.
Yeah, and then you jump on top of that and fight 5 of them at once in the most difficult boss battle yet.
I was gonna say, from what I recall, they are not easy.
That's just the part where I had to switch Peach into my team for the group heal, because you're talking 5 of them attacking you at once.
Well, doesn't each one have a specific skill? Like the pink one, I remember being the healer.
Yes, so you take her down first, and then you take down the one on the right, who's the green one, uses spells, and then you have black, red, and blue left, I think. Or yellow?
No, there's
Yellow.
black, red, and
Yellow.
yellow.
Yeah. So yellow is kind of the tank, the big fat one. Red
Hmm.
is the leader. Black can attack twice
Ugh.
in on one turn, so take him out as well. It's took me 2 goes, and switching Peach in the team really helped because every time it was her turn, I could use group hug and heal everyone, and then just focus on doing the timed attacks with Mario and Bowser.
I want to talk about Peach for a second. Her attacks are hilarious.
I know.
She attacks with a glove and just bitch slaps, and then she gets a parasol that she slaps people with.
And also a fan at one point.
And then after the Axum Rangers, you can go back to Moleville and buy the metal plate, which is actually her best weapon, the frying pan.
I should have went and got that, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have known about it. I was just trying to get to the end
Yeah.
of the show.
We were rushing a little bit.
But I did. Once you beat the Axum Rangers, also the red one jumps in the back where there's like a head, which like is kind of like a Megazord.
Yeah.
It attacks you with a really strong beam called Breaker Beam. And again, you just have to focus on attacking and healing and take that down. Then when you do that, you get the star.
Woo! And then you make it finally back to Bowser's Castle.
Yes, you take the royal bus from Nimbus Town.
Which I think is really neat at this point because the whole world map is set up as a big circle. You can actually get to the final boss back from Mario's pad, too, if you wanted to.
Can you?
Yeah, you can go back to Mario's pad. You know, at the beginning, you went out his pad, and then you could go to Bowser's Keep that way. You could circle all the way back and go that way if you wanted to.
Well, no, because you can't get over because the bridge is out.
But you...
That's why you need to take the royal bus from Nimbus Town. Because a cloud flies
I thought you
there.
could get back there both ways now.
I don't think so.
Could be wrong.
Probably are, usually are.
I mean, probably.
Yeah. Bowser's Keep was an interesting little bit. It flips it on its head a bit, and you find a room with 6 different doors in. They have different sections behind them. A couple of puzzles, a couple of platforming, and a couple are battle rooms. You have to finish 4 of these to get through to the next section.
I remember there being a room that had a bunch of the green exclamation marks on the ground.
I didn't say that.
Is that one of the puzzles? Like the big green exclamation buttons that you have to jump on in a certain order?
No, I didn't say that one.
Really?
Maybe I didn't do that one. The ones I did were I did 2 of the battle rooms, and after you finish every room, you also find a treasure chest which has a rare item in, and I got most of the best weapons for the characters. I think, well, really good weapons anyway.
Which I thought was interesting because when you go to the shop, you typically in an RPG, you're like, "Oh, haven't seen this weapon before. It's going to be better." I wasted so much money on weapons that ended up not being any better.
I know, because you can't really compare, can you?
No. That is one oversight in the menu.
It is an oversight. The menu is not the best at all. But I had those 2 battle rooms, and then I had a room where there was a quiz master, and he asked you questions about like things in the game, like what's the name of the chef, and like Chef Tort, and where was the first star found? Then how long has the couple been waiting to get married in Marrymore Temple?
Oh, good Lord.
And stuff like that, and you had to answer a certain amount, and the platform went up and up as you did it. You had to make sure you were near the top.
I don't remember that.
And then there was another room where you had to count barrels. My God, this was difficult because of the isometric view. Yeah. Were hiding behind each other and stuff, and you just kind of had to estimate.
One of those things like how many jelly beans are in this jar.
Yeah, I just saved at the end and tried each one until I got it right.
I did that with every time I got lucky for the battles. With the Yoshi thing, I'd wait till the eggs were shuffled and I'd save state and be like, boom, this one.
Oh, you finally got that.
I started getting it more. I found it interesting with the bosses. They wouldn't give you double XP. They'd just give you double coins.
Oh, I don't think I ever got a lucky from a boss.
Get good.
I'm sorry. Yeah, but I really enjoyed these rooms. I liked how it kind of flipped it on its head and did something new with the mechanics.
Well, the first boss that you face here is the one that, when I first played this, I assumed this was Smithy, the giant sword, but it's not.
No, he's not the first boss. You fight a little soldier thing.
named Boomer, right?
Yes, I think so. And he's like kind of a samurai, and he switches between blue and red modes, and he has like a instant death attack.
Ooh.
And you fight him on the chandeliers like you
So
did at the
that's where
start of
that
the game.
Culex charm would come in handy.
Yes, very much so. Well, he couldn't. I think Princess Peach had something that stopped her from dying all
There's
the
also
time.
another one too that you can just naturally get. I don't remember what it's called.
Hmm. Yeah, but as you were saying, I thought this was Smithy as well. I thought Smithy was the sword,
No,
but
that's
it turns out
Exor.
the sword is basically a gateway into Smithy's world. The fight against the sword was, I wouldn't say the hardest fight in the game, but tactical, because you have this bit at the top of the sword, you have two eyes on the sword and a mouth. And if the eyes and the mouth and the top are all active, they get four attacks at once.
Ooh.
So you have to knock out the eyes basically to be able to attack the top. So I would focus on killing the mouth because that had a really strong attack. Then kill one of the eyes, try and kill another eye, and then just spam the top of the sword until it died, healing whenever necessary. And then once you do that, the sword basically sucks them all inside, and you end up in this weird otherworldly factory element with like cogs and nuts and bolts everywhere. And it
And then
turns
this is
out,
where there's a bunch of boss battles in a row.
yes, it turns out Smithy is actually making an army of weapons, which is what you've been fighting so far. And yeah, and the first boss is like a giant clock called Countdown,
Yep.
which was pretty tricky. The bosses just they become health sponges at this point. They just get really strong.
Which is really strange because the beginning of this game that we talked about last week was quite easy. It didn't really require a whole lot of effort,
Yeah, it's a game of two halves, I feel.
which is dangerous because the first half you almost become complacent with the fact that I don't need to do a whole lot of RPGing and
No,
grinding and upgrading and being careful about my progression. And then the
but
second half comes and it can kind of come back to bite you.
it's basically a hardcore RPG by the end, like
Yeah.
rival anything Final Fantasy threw at you.
Which at the beginning we said was kind of a bare bones RPG, and now it becomes very true. This is where Square is shining.
Yeah, it's like they just took over at the end, just did what they wanted.
You
But
fight a
that,
big snake at the end too, don't you?
oh god, this was difficult.
Cloaker? Is that his name?
There's two of them. There's Cloaker and Domino. Depending on which one you kill, depends on what snake you fight. There's two snakes called Earthlink and Adder something. I
Huh.
fought Earthlink, and it had basically what would happen was Cloaker's on top of it. Cloaker would attack me, hit me for about 46 damage, and then that thing would use a move called Carney Kiss, which did about 100 damage.
Oof.
And it was knocking my health down like crazy. And I had to go through all my pick me ups to revive people. And it was touch and go. I only had Bowser left at the end, and I just managed to kill it by the skin of my teeth. He had like 40 health left.
That's where you make that decision to go, I think he's close to death. I got one hit left in me or I die.
Yeah. And I just went, you know what? I'm probably going to have to reload. And he died, and I was ecstatic.
Ooh. And then you
Yeah.
fight Smithy.
They actually go to another bit before Smithy, which is like the proper factory with conveyor belts and stuff. And you have to fight a succession of different, like, generals or factory workers
Uh-huh.
who have little hammer workers with them as well. You fight three of them, and then you have to fight a factory leader, and he also has a machine with him, which basically spams that breaker beam attack of the Axum Rangers fight. That was tricky as well. Survived that one by the skin of my teeth as well. And then once they're dead, you can move on to Smithy.
But you didn't beat Smithy.
I didn't beat Smithy, so I have no idea what happens at the end. I beat Smithy's first form. Smithy's second form destroyed me.
Ugh. Well, we can presume you get the star and save the day.
Probably.
There was
But play the end for yourselves. Find out. We got close enough.
so at the end, during the credits, there's a fireworks show. And based on how many fireworks you bought from that mole in Moleville, dictates what shows up in your fireworks display. So if you buy 0 fireworks, you get a mushroom. 1 or 2 fireworks, you also get a mushroom. If you buy 3, you get a flower. 3 or 4, you get a flower. And if you buy 5, you get a star.
Oh, isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Pointless, but nice.
Did you talk to, back in Barrel Volcano, a shopkeeper called Hino Pio?
Yes.
Did you notice the airships that he had on his crates?
Yes, the Star Fox things.
Star Fox, F-Zero, and one other reference that I don't remember off the top of my head. But he's kind of a worthless shopkeeper. Makes everybody sleep on crates.
Yes, it was so funny.
Did you get the Link reference in this? Did you find Link?
I did. No, I didn't find him. Samus is in it as well, apparently.
There's an inn that you stay in. After Gino joins your party, you go to Rosetown, stay at the inn, and Link will be in the bed next to you when you wake up. But if you try to wake him up, it'll play Zelda music.
It's really cool.
I don't remember how to see. Let's see how you find Samus.
Did you find the 3 musty fears?
I did, and I went and got all their flags.
Did you?
Yeah. One was under Mario's bed. The other was between the O and the A on Yoster Island, where it says goal. And then the other was behind the wooden sign in Rosetown.
They're invisible, right?
Yeah.
You can find Valentina with Booster and Booster Tower.
If you go back to the Royal Castle after getting the 5th star piece, you can see Samus sleeping in the guest room.
Really cool.
And if you talk to her, she says that she's resting up for Mother Brain. Which is interesting because I think...
references.
Does that prove that all of these games exist in the same universe?
No, I think it's just a reference.
I mean, Hyrule could just be a different land like Mushroom Kingdom is.
Hey.
So, in all, Mario RPG...
I enjoyed
shite
it.
or not shite?
Not shite.
I really like it. It's a solid game. It set the foundation for what we have as the Mario games, like Paper Mario, the Bowser Inside Story, Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, games like that.
I would really like them to do another one like this. I know they never will, but it was a good experiment, and it actually produced a very fun, very in-depth game, which looks at a different way in Mario's world. And if you've never played it before, this is the first time I've played through to actually the ending, and I really enjoyed it.
It is good. I have very fond memories of this game as a child.
I mean, the battles can get a bit tedious at times, but
the music is so chipper and peppy.
Yep. You just want to play more.
Just play more. Dan, should we do some emails?
You should.
You want to send us an email, factorysealed@manatank.com, or drop it to us on Facebook. Our first one is an email from a while ago that I forgot to read, and I hope I haven't read it.
You probably have.
If I have, great. We get to hear it again. Comes from Light Soul ADV. I'm assuming by his email address it's Javier. He writes in, sorry if you see some English here. I'm a Mexican. He says, hey guys, I like your podcast so much. I recently found it like 1.5 months before because of a friend recommended me your podcast. I listened to an episode and liked it because it reminded me of my middle school days, in which every recess my friends and I talked about video games we played or finished. I miss those times. Now I'm in high school, but most of my friends moved to other places.
I thought he was going to say because we're so stupid. The insult.
Anyway, keep doing the great podcast and keep doing your best.
We try to.
And that's what we've built this show around, is the idea of what it used to be like in middle school.
Yes.
A couple of idiots just chatting away.
Yes. Hopefully 3 when Tom comes back.
We have another really long email from Sam Chun that just came in. I need to parse that out and pull some information because he's always got some really good stuff to share, but we're going to go through that next week.
Haven't heard from Sam for a while.
Yeah, we've gotten a couple that he likes to write really long emails with tons of awesome information in it. I just have been so busy I haven't had time to read through it. So I'm going to put that on the docket for next week and just kind of parse some of the important information out.
Okie dokie.
Next email comes from Ryan Klubeck. He writes in, subject, Mega Man X newbie. Hey guys, in the last episode, one of your listeners wrote that despite being a gamer for 20 years, he'd never played a Zelda game. It made me think of something I'd never played until recently, Mega Man X. Though I'm a huge fan of the classic Mega Man games, I was late getting a Super NES, so I never really had a chance to play the X series. Just recently, I purchased Mega Man X collection for PS2 and had a blast making my way through the first entry. Shortly thereafter, I started X2, but to my surprise, I'm not enjoying it nearly as much as the first. Here's my question. Are the rest of the games in the X collection, X2 through X6, worth playing? Are any that you simply can't miss? Any you'd recommend skipping altogether?
This is one for you.
Yes. X is fantastic. X2, X3 is incredible. The rest are just kind of blah. That's where the franchise just started to kind of lose it. Kind of like in...
I've only played the first one, so I can't...
Kind of like in the original NES series. Well, 3 introduced the charge shot. That was kind of the last game where that it really felt like they put a lot of effort into it. 4 and beyond were just kind of like... and then you hit 7 and 8 and you're just like, this is bad, because they're just milking it at that point.
You'd still play the shit out of a new one if it came
Oh
out.
yeah, absolutely. I still play the shit out of all of them, but if you're wanting a true experience, Mega Man X is just incredible. X2, like you said, not the best. X3 is really good. But after that, I mean, still play them.
Play it.
Play it. But then, if you really want to have a good time, play 9 and 10 on PS4 or whatever console you can get them on. Super good.
Super.
That's it for emails. What do we got coming up, Dan?
Next week is Resident Evil 3.
But you're not going to be on the show.
I'm not. You can change it if you want to.
Sinner.
It's not intentional.
Sinner. Maybe, because I really want you to play through that with us. Maybe we'll swap it with Klonoa.
Again.
What do you mean again?
We've swapped this list around every week.
Yeah. But I want you to play Resident Evil 3. Because you've never played it, right?
Resident Evil 3 as well.
You've never played it, right?
No.
Okay. We're swapping it. We're doing Klonoa next week.
And then Resi the week after.
Correct. And then we're going to be doing some Fable.
Yes. And then Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops.
Oh. Oh, dear.
Tom's choice.
How are we going to all play that?
You can get a PSP emulator.
I mean, I guess.
I played through Crisis Core on it.
Yeah, that's true. So that's what's coming up in the next few weeks. Guys, that's going to do it for this week. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or if you really like us, leave us a review, please.
Yes.
Check us out on facebook.com/group/Factory Seal Podcast. Join the party.
Join the party.
Not to be confused with the pate.
We'll give you a pate if you join.
Cat food pate.
That's basically what it is anyway.
Yeah. Dan, thanks for joining me this week.
No problem.
Enjoy your holiday to your
shall.
$39 hotel. It's going to be stellar.
It is. It's a nice hotel. I just had, from when I went to Australia, I had loads of free nights from hotels.com.
Ooh.
And it took £130 off the price.
Good Lord.
So not bad, eh?
Not bad at all.
Not bad at all, Moist League.
Moist leg.
Right, well, it's been a delight. And now I'm going for a shite.
I was waiting to see what you were going to rhyme with that.
I'm not really.
I mean, you probably are in some capacity.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And on that, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.